After the color guard retires the colors, you may also leave the chamber. Should you wish to stay for the remainder of today's ceremonies, you're welcome to do so. We have reserved seating for you in our upper gallery. Will the color guard please retire the colors?
Color guard, shift, color. Forward, march.
Please be seated. The Senate will be in a brief recess. The Senate will come to order. Mr. Sergeant at Arms.
Mr. President, a delegation from the Assembly is at the bar of the Senate.
Good afternoon, Assembly members Peters, Dickman, and Miller. Welcome to the Senate.
The Assembly is organized and ready for business.
Thank you for announcing that the Assembly is ready for business. We look forward to working with you and the entire membership of the Assembly during the 82nd legislative session. Thank you. At this time, I request Mr. Brendan Busey to serve as a temporary Secretary of the Senate and Mr. Eric Colby to serve as a temporary Sergeant at Arms. Mr. Busey, please call the roll of the holdover senators.
Senator Buck.
Here.
Senator Cannizzaro. Here. Senator Goycochea.
Here.
Senator Hammond.
Got to play with the new toy.
Senator Harris. Here. Senator Lang.
Here.
Senator Neal. Here. Senator Severs-Gansert. Here. Senator Spearman.
Let the record reflect there are 9 holdover senators. At this time, I will appoint Senator Spearman, Neal, and Goycochea as a temporary committee on credentials who will examine the certificates of election and appointment of the senators-elect and appointed. Senator Spearman, the Assistant Secretary, will hand you a folder with copies of the certificates and a committee report as you and your committee leave the chamber. I will suggest that you review them in the Senate lounge. When you have finished your review and all 3 of you have signed the committee report, please return it and the certificates to the Assistant Secretary before returning to your seats. If there are no objections, the Senate will be in recess, subject to the call of the chair, in order to give the committee ample time to examine and attest to the certificates. The Senate will come to order. The Secretary will read the report of the Temporary Committee on Credentials.
Reports of committees. Committee on Credentials, February 6, 2023. Mr. President, your temporary Committee on Credentials has had the credentials of the respective senators elect and appointed under consideration and begs leave to report the following persons have been and are duly elected qualified members of the Senate for the 82nd session of the Legislature of the State of Nevada. Senators Richard Daley, Fabian Dugnate, Marilyn Dondero-Loop, Edgar Flores, Ira Hansen, Lisa Krasner, Rochelle Wynn, James Orenshaw, Julie Pazina, Melanie Scheibel, Jeff Stone, and Robin Titus. Signed, Senator Pat Spearman, Senator Dina Neal, Senator Pete Goycochea. End of reports.
Senator Spearman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to adopt the report of the Temporary Committee on Credentials.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. I will now appoint Senator Harris, Hammond, and Buck as a committee on escort to invite the Honorable Chief Justice Lydia Stiglitz to administer the oath of office. Senator Harris, the Chief Justice, is waiting for the escort committee in the Senate Leadership Office. The Sergeant at Arms will direct you there. The Senate will be in recess. The Senate will come to order. The escort committee and the Chief Justice are gathered outside the Senate doors. In preparation for the oath, I would like to call the senators elected and appointed who are to be sworn in to come forward. As your name is called, please stand in front of the Secretary's podium. The Sergeant at Arms will assist you in this process. Senator Daley, Senator Donate, Senator Dondero-Loop, Senator Flores, Senator Hansen, Senator Krasner, Senator Wynn, Senator Orenshaw, Senator Pazina, Senator Scheibel, Senator Stone, Senator Titus. After the oath is given, each of you will sign the oath of office sheet and 2 certificates of election or appointment. Hand the certificates to the Assistant Secretary. She will give them to the Chief Justice for her signature. After all the certificates are signed, a member of the Sergeant at Arms staff will escort the Chief Justice to the side of the chamber where the flags are located. Senators Canizaro, Senator Severs-Gansert, and I will join the Chief Justice there to take a photograph with each of you individually. We hope you'll enjoy this formality because it is indeed a special occasion. Mr. Sergeant at Arms.
Mr. President, the Honorable Lydia S. Stiglitz, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the State of Nevada, is at the bar of the Senate.
Thank you. Will Senator Harris please escort Chief Justice to the Secretary's podium, and then you and your committee may return to your seats. Will all senators and guests please rise and remain standing as the oath of office is administered to the newly elected and appointed senators.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and the Constitution and government of the state of Nevada against all enemies, whether domestic or foreign, and that I will bear true faith, allegiance, and loyalty to the same. Any ordinance, resolution, or law of any state notwithstanding, and that I will well and faithfully perform all the duties of the office of State Senator on which I am about to enter. So help me God. Under the pains and penalties of perjury. Congratulations.
All holdover senators and guests may be seated. The Senate will be in recess for the signing ceremony and photographs. Senate will come to order. To all the newly elected and appointed senators, I want to extend my warmest congratulations. Senator Lang.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate extend a vote of thanks to the Honorable Lydia S. Stiglich, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Nevada.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Please rise. Senator Harris, will you please come forward and escort the Chief Justice to the bar of the Senate chamber? Thank you, Chief Justice Stiglich, for honoring us here today. Now you're supposed to applaud. Please be seated. Will the Secretary please call the roll of the entire membership?
Senator Buck.
Here.
Senator Cannizzaro. Senator Daley. Senator Doñate. Senator Dondero-Loop. Senator Flores. Senator Goycochea. Senator Hammond. Senator Hansen. Senator Harris. Senator Krasner.
Here.
Senator Lang. Senator Neal. Senator Wynn. Senator Orenshaw. Senator Pizzina. Senator Scheibel. Senator Sievers-Gansert. Senator Spearman.
Here.
Senator Stone. Senator Titus.
Here.
Let the record reflect there are 21 senators present. Nominations are now in order for President Pro Tem. Senator Lang.
Thank you, Mr. President. I nominate Senator Pat Spearman to be the President pro tempore of the Senate.
Senator Buck.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that nominations be closed.
If there are no objections, so ordered. You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Senator Spearman is declared to be the President pro tem of the Senate for the 82nd session of the Nevada Legislature. My sincere congratulations to Senator Spearman. Nominations are now in order for Secretary of the Senate. Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I nominate Brendan Busey as the Secretary of the Senate.
Senator Sievers-Gansert.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that nominations be closed.
If there are no objections, so ordered. You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Mr. Busey is declared to be the Secretary of the Senate. I will now appoint Senators Donate, Flores, and Krasner to notify the Assembly that the Senate is organized and ready for business. I will also appoint Senators Scheibel, Dondero, Loop, and Hansen to notify the Governor that the Senate is organized and ready for business. Will the committees please attend to your duties and immediately return to Senate chambers when you have accomplished your mission? Thank you. Senator Cannizzaro, would you like to confirm the members of the news media at this time?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. A complete listing of the news media personnel has been placed in today's agenda on your desks and at the press table in the lower gallery. I move that the news media personnel as listed be accepted and accredited as members of the press, that they be assigned space at the designated press table in the chamber, and that they be allowed to use the appropriate meeting facilities in the legislative building.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. If there are no objections, the Senate will recess, subject to the call of the chair pending the return of the notifying committees. Senate will come to order. The committee assigned to notify the Assembly has returned to the chamber. Senator Donate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your appointed committee has informed the Assembly that the Senate is organized and ready for business.
Thank you. We will now go into recess. Senate will come to order. The committee assigned to notify the governor has returned to the chamber. Senator Scheibel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your appointed committee has informed the governor that the Senate is organized and ready for business.
Thank you. Next order of business, number 16, remarks from the floor. Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've got one tiny little guest who's already not liking this speech, so hopefully everyone else will feel a little differently. Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Secretary, my esteemed colleagues of the Senate, members of the press, guests, welcome everybody to this 82nd session of the Nevada Legislature. I want to thank our President Pro Tem for the wonderful invocation this morning. I want to thank our 395th Army Band for performing the national anthem, which I think we all thoroughly enjoyed here in our chamber. Our legislative police color guard, who I think have served us well and done us proud today for the presentation of the colors. Justice Stiglitz for swearing in all of our newly elected and appointed senators. And of course, most importantly, our President of the Senate and our front desk staff, Sergeant at Arms, and Secretary of the Senate for making us look good and helping us be here each and every day. Quite frankly, they are really the body that runs this whole place. Here, do you want to come up here with me? Okay. Without them, we just frankly wouldn't be able to do this job on a daily basis, and I think people don't see that the way that we do. So thank you all for all of your hard work and for all of your hard work leading us up until today. I am very excited to be here with all of you, and I look forward to what I hope will be a very productive session. But before we get down to business, I want to briefly share some thoughts with you on this very important day. I am honored and humbled to be serving as the majority leader for a third session. Are you going to let Mama give a speech or what? Come on, you sit here. Let's do that. I'm honored and humbled to be serving as the majority leader for a third session. When I was first elected to this position in 2019, I was also proud to be part of the very first female majority legislature, not only here in Nevada, but in the United States. And that's a huge deal. And 4 years later, I think we have made a lot of progress on this front. For the first time in Nevada's history, we have a female president pro tem of the state Senate. And that is something that I'm very proud of, to share that with my colleague from Senate District 1. Also, for the first time, both the majority leader and the minority leader of the state Senate are women. And that, again, is another first for Nevada. But that isn't all. This session, there are 8 women serving in leadership roles in the Senate. That's 8. And 6 women serving in similar roles in the Assembly. To be fair, I think we've stolen a few of our female colleagues from the Assembly side. I'm sure they're going to be okay, even though they may be a little shorthanded. But as you can see, they have a lot of women serving in leadership roles there as well. And in 2023, I am proud again to say that we still remain a majority female legislature. When people ask me about this, which I get asked about it quite a fair amount, they ask me, well, don't you think that's a little odd for a state like Nevada? And I have to always respond and say that that's not true. We've had a long tradition in Nevada of having incredible work done in public service by women here in this state. We elected a woman to serve, Sadie Hurst, in 1918 to the legislature before women had the universal right to even cast a ballot and vote. In 1914, we approved Nevada's right for women to vote by a larger majority than any other state at the time. In 1986, we elected the first female Secretary of State, and in 1990, the first Attorney General with Frankie Sue Del Papa. We've elected and seen a strong woman leader in this body on the Assembly side in Speaker Barbara Buckley. We have a majority of women serving on our Supreme Court and saw that our Chief Justice, Lydia Stiglitz, who is here with us today to swear everyone in, is also a woman serving as the highest officer in that court. And we have, in this state, elected the very first Latina to the United States Senate with Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. This is a long and rich history of women serving and leading in Nevada, and I'm proud to get to share just a tiny bit and serve with all of my colleagues here. I am thrilled that we are expanding that tradition, that we're enriching it and continuing to forge a path forward for all the amazing women who will come after us. In preparing for what I thought about sharing as we open this session, and I hope that my colleague doesn't mind too much, but I reflected back on a conversation ahead of this legislative session with the minority leader, where we were sort of discussing what it was like in these leadership positions. And, even as short time ago as 2019, I mentioned that when I first took on this position, I was the only female in the room at the leadership table. And it was the first time that a woman had been there to represent the Senate. And we sort of discussed how remarkable it was that the Senate, that has long and rich traditions that endure over time, would be changing this session because I wouldn't be the only woman at the leadership table. And I thought that was really wonderful, and I am excited to serve with her. And that conversation really did lead me to think a lot about what this body means and what it embodies, and how we are seeing that this chamber, as much as there are traditions that we practice every single day, there are things that are changing, that we are beginning to reflect a lot more of what Nevada looks like. In a place that, I think historically the conversations have not been led by women, it is a real privilege to get to see women leading on the Senate side in some of those highest positions. The President Pro Tem of the Senate, our finance chair, my colleague from Senate District 8, who is going to be leading the most powerful committee in the Nevada Legislature. We have our assistant majority leader and our minority leader and assistant minority leader all serving as women in this chamber. And I could go on and on about the many chairs who also chair committees, and I know you heard me talk about 8 women serving in those leadership positions, but I think that really does deserve a point of reflection. While we have been the first majority women legislature for a few years strong, many folks may tire of hearing that discussion point. And I feel as though I've said it a few times, certainly on this floor. But I was truly struck the other day when I also was walking just through the hallways of this building, looking at many of the photos that adorn the walls of the legislature, the history that is reflected there, the people who have blazed paths and have taught us how to come into this body and to lead. But for the first time, when I was passing by our majority leader and speaker pro tem wall, I noticed that there are now finally 2 women on that wall. And the long line of really wonderful leaders who have done a great job in this chamber, many of whom I've served with and under, but for the first time in history, there were 2. I was struck by that sort of quiet moment of history being made because the photo hadn't been up. We had been in here for finance briefings. We're wandering around this building. It's quiet before session. You can feel the anticipation of the preparation, but there's not people, filling the hallways or filling this chamber. And I walked by one day, the photo was not up, and walked by the next day and it was just there. I immediately took a photo and sent it to my colleague because I just felt like that moment should be shared. It had just happened, unnoticed, but I noticed it, and I'm happy to be part of that. For those who know me, I think it should be no surprise that I'm here talking a little bit about how our legislative body is changing. I have been on the floor of this Senate many times to advocate for things that I have grown and gotten to see, and I'm very honored today to be here with one of my heroes and one of my favorite people on this planet, my mom, Norma. And many of you have heard me talk about her in this chamber because I come from a long line of very strong women, one of whom is my mom. When we've talked about supporting the Equal Rights Amendment, for Nevada to sign on to a federal amendment, for us to adopt our state Equal Rights Amendment and put it on the ballot for the voters this last election, I talked a lot about my mom having to have strength just to do sort of daily things And I think that that speaks so much to why so many of us are here, how it is that we get to a point of having so many women serving, and frankly, I think to the spirit of the state that I am born and raised in, Nevada. There are so many of us that have had to work through things and had to overcome challenges in order to be here, and I think that that's why I like to share that story, because my mom has taught me so much about being strong in the face of adversity, about keeping going and persevering no matter what, and of just trying to be the kind of human that does the most good that you can every single day. I also believe that this building is a building of tradition, and that's something that we should honor. And for a tradition to last, it must be capable of growth and progress. It must be possible for new people from different backgrounds with different ideals and goals to access our traditions and enrich them. Failing this, a tradition becomes antiquated, stale, and eventually disappears. So it is fortunate that not only are women embracing public service in ever bigger numbers, we have an incredibly diverse legislature by virtually any metric that you pick. I happen to be talking about women in this legislature, but that is just one small group that continues to be represented in this building in a way that has not been seen historically. And that's something that we should all be proud of. Any of those metrics, be it ethnicity, age, religion, gender identity, background. In other words, today, this legislature looks more like Nevada than ever before. And I think that's the way that we keep important traditions and our state thriving. Of course, serving in the legislature is an absolute privilege, and is without question the biggest privilege I have enjoyed in my life thus far. And with it comes several responsibilities whose weight I am sure we feel every day. We must, without fail, serve with integrity. We must set aside our personal disagreements and honor the civility and decorum that are the foundations of this institution if we are to succeed. We must be honest, forthright, and respectful with each other. And we must be willing to not only listen, but to consider thoughtfully positions counter to our own if we expect to do good work for the people who sent us here. The last few times we have been in this chamber, we have had to adjust some of those traditions, which has at times felt very uncomfortable and much like we are not in the Senate. But I assure you all that those traditions remain alive and true, and I believe very much that this body will continue to embrace those. These last few years have been difficult for so many Nevadans, so many of the people that we represent who have reached out to us seeking help, looking for some guidance, looking for someone to help them find their way for their families. And I think it is our duty to continue to serve those Nevadans and make sure that we are delivering for them real solutions that make their lives better. This is an amazing institution. It is so full of living traditions that we are lucky to share in, and at the same time, so full of the promise of better things to come, if only we can work together to accomplish them. It is in this spirit that I hope we all spend every one of the next 119 days striving together to make this a better place for each and every Nevadan. I do not pretend or kid myself that any of this is going to be particularly easy, but I have no doubt that we each share the goal of serving all Nevadans to the best of our abilities. We have a real opportunity this session to make sure that our kids can get a good education, to make sure that we can invest in our next generation, to make sure that people can have access to affordable and accessible health care, to make sure that people are treated equally, to continue to support our small businesses and our economy, and to make sure that this is the kind of Nevadan, and I know I've said this a number of times, and it always sounds a little cliche, but I truly believe that this is why my parents came to Nevada, and it is so much of what I try to keep in my mind, in the forefront of my mind as I serve, is that Nevada should be the kind of place where you can live, work, and raise a family. I believe that openly acknowledging that this is not going to be easy definitely puts us in the right headspace to think about the policy that we are enacting in the right way. And I think acknowledging those realities is vitally important because it is the first step to identifying the goals that we can actually achieve together, which is something that I am confident that we can do. Luckily for all of us, I am equally confident that with the leadership of so many strong, resilient, and capable individuals in this body, not just the women, but everyone else that you see occupying a desk in this chamber today, that we will be remarkably successful and we will go on to accomplish great things. Again, I want to welcome everyone to the 82nd legislative session and looking forward to the next 119 days. So let's get to it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Senator Severs-Gansert.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I'd also like to thank the Majority Leader for her comments. I'd like to thank my parents for their support and for being here today. And I'd like to thank all the families who are joining us during Nevada's 82nd legislative session. Your support inspires us. Thank you. Now, I'd also like to welcome the 2 new senators from Anthem and Silverado Ranch. I'd also like to welcome the 5 new members of the Senate who formerly served in the Nevada Assembly. They all represent our diverse state from the heart of Las Vegas to the quiet rural community of Smith Valley. For those of you moving to the northern side of the building, I believe you'll find the weather a bit calmer and enjoyable here. I want to welcome all of you to this body. I want to acknowledge, as the Majority Leader did, that this is a moment in Nevada history. This is the first time both Senate leaders are women, and I'm honored to be one of those women. I have a great deal of respect for the Majority Leader and believe what Governor Lombardo said in his State of the State to be true. There is nothing that cannot be accomplished if you simply summon the will to work together. In that spirit, I reached out to the Senate Majority Leader a couple of weeks ago and asked her if she would be a primary co-sponsor of Senate Bill 89, which is an anti-sex trafficking bill. She agreed, and I look forward to working with her during the early days of the session to pass this legislation. It's a very strong example of bipartisanship. This body is a place where we debate tough issues and where we need to debate them with civility and thoughtfulness while allowing compassion to influence our discussions. Our discussions also must be tempered with fiscal discipline and personal responsibility. Those values don't exist exclusively in one party. They're fundamental values we all share. We are all grateful to be working together in this building. We are open for business. It's a place where we can address issues and meet challenges by talking in person, not remotely at each other through social media. Partisan politics has its place, but the campaign season is over, and now it's time for us to govern together as Nevadans. The leaders who came before us, like Raggio and Titus, some of you know them, and Neil and Townsend, showed us how to set aside differences. They disagreed with each other, but always respected one another. It's in their service to our state that we approach this session, and it's in their example of working together that we should emulate. The Majority Leader is my friend. The senator from North Las Vegas is my friend, just like the senators from Eureka and Henderson are my friends. And friends find a way. It's called the Nevada way. As Governor Lombardo said in his inaugural address, it's rooted in the notion that no challenge is so insurmountable that it cannot be solved. It's a concept that as Nevadans, if we believe in ourselves sufficiently enough and trust one another to overcome adversity, no matter the magnitude, we will never fail. The Nevada way. Thank God the 2021 COVID legislative session is behind us. If it taught us anything at all, it taught us to be better listeners and to be better public servants because we know Nevada citizens want action. This Republican leader is proud to be on the Senate floor with all of you. It's a profound gift to hold the public trust and a humbling one to be called senator. We work for the people. Let's do our very best to serve them with decency, respect, and honor. I'm honored to work with all of you, and I'm excited that you're my colleagues and that we can start today the 82nd legislative session of the state of Nevada. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now proceed to order of business number 9, motions, resolutions, and notices. Will the Secretary read Senate Resolution number 1, adopting the Senate standing rules?
Senate Resolution 1, introduced by Senators Canizaro and Severs-Gansert, adopts the standing rules of the Senate for the 82nd session of the legislature. End of resolution.
Senator Canizaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I had a little friend helping me down here organize my paperwork. Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Resolution number 1 provides the following changes. Rule number 6 is revised to provide that the Senate rules remain in effect throughout the interim between the regular legislative sessions and until new rules are adopted for the next session unless a rule adopted for a special session conflicts. A conforming change is made in Rule number 23. Rule number 23 is revised to remove the public member of the Committee on Ethics who is appointed by the other members on the committee. This makes the composition of the Senate's Committee on Ethics the same as the Assembly's committee. Rule number 40 revises the standing committee membership by adding a member to the Senate Standing Committee on Commerce and Labor and removing a member from the Senate Standing Committee on Finance. Jurisdiction over the marijuana provisions, except medical marijuana provisions, is moved from the Senate Standing Committee on Health and Human Services to the Senate Standing Committee on Commerce and Labor. Rule number 94 is revised to reinstate the authority for the seating of guests in the Senate chamber that was removed as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Rule number 112 is amended to add into the Senate rules a provision of the joint rules that provides for the removal of the names of joint sponsors from a bill or resolution when all senators who are sponsors or co-sponsors of a bill or resolution remove their names from the bill or resolution while the bill or resolution is in the Senate. Rule number 136, the remote technology rules, previously set forth in rules numbers 131 through 135, which were included last session to account for remote participation by members due to the COVID-19 pandemic, are reconstituted into a new Rule 136 titled Authorized Use of Remote Technology Systems in Exceptional Circumstances. This rule authorizes a member to participate via a remote technology system if the majority leader or chair of the applicable committee, with the approval of the majority leader, determines that exceptional circumstances warrant such participation by the member. This rule is intended to establish a reasonable method for determining whether a member is present at legislative proceedings during exceptional circumstances. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Canizaro. Would you like to make a motion to adopt Senate Resolution number 1?
Yes, I would. I would move to adopt Senate Resolution number 1 and share my remarks thereafter.
Thank you. Are there any further remarks on Senate Resolution number 1 regarding the standing rules? All right, if there's no further remarks, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Will the Secretary proceed with Senate Resolution number 2?
Senate Resolution 2, introduced by Senators Canizaro and Severs-Gansert, provides allowances to the members of the Senate for periodicals, stamps, stationery, and communications. End of resolution.
Senator Canizaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to adopt Senate Resolution number 2.
You've heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Canizaro.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This resolution provides an allowance to leadership and other members of the Senate for periodicals, postage, stationery, and communications for this session.
Thank you. Are there any further remarks? Hearing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Will the Secretary continue with Resolution number 3?
Senate Resolution 3, introduced by Senators Canizaro and Severs-Gansert, provides for the appointment of the Senate session staff. End of resolution.
Senator Canizaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to adopt Senate Resolution number 3.
Thank you. Are there any remarks? Senator Canizaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are once again fortunate to have an excellent staff working with us this legislative session.
Thank you. Are there any further remarks? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Order of business number 16. Remarks from the floor, introduction of guests. Senators, please introduce your guests at this time. I will call you in the order that you activate your button. So we will start with Senator Severs-Gansert.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a new system here so everyone can see where they are in the queue, and I was 2 and then became 1, so somebody unpressed their button. So I want to welcome my parents, Leo and Diane Severs, here today. I'm so fortunate to have you here, and the great example that you showed me, you know, as I was growing up, helped me to get here. So I'm very grateful for you, and I appreciate you being here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am very pleased to be here with some members of my family who were able to join us. So this is my mom, Norma, who is my very favorite person in the whole wide world, and is my rock and my strength, and has supported me throughout every crazy thing that I've ever told her that I wanted to do. Even when I was 7 and said, I want to be a lawyer. And she was like, okay, that sounds great. Here's what you got to do. Go to school and work hard. So she's the reason I'm here with you. And as we've all been joined today by my little boy, Case Cannizzaro Ring, who is, as you can see, very busy and very active and eager to speak into the microphones, and who was with us last session but on board. So to this time, we've got a different one on board who will be here later on, a little brother. So I'm happy to be here with him as well. And finally, my partner on this planet, Nathan Ring, who is my husband of almost 10 years, and we've been hanging out together for 15, almost 16 years. So I'm pleased that he could be here with us today. Please make them feel welcome.
Senator Dondero Loop.
Thank you very much. Welcome to everybody here. I have 4 guests here today that are all special, but Senate District 16 residents. Not down in Las Vegas. The first 2, my brother, my oldest brother, I have many who prepared me for this legislative trip. My brother, Mike Dondero, who was a forester here in Nevada and other states for over 50 years, and we can thank him for saving our lands. My sister-in-law, Molly, who worked at the front desk with all of you, some of you, for 10 years here at the legislature, and has been a stalwart supporter and listens to me complain once in a while. I have some educator friends who hail from Las Vegas, or actually Northern California, Las Vegas, and taught there and were administrators for 30 years and now have lived in Reno for about 12 years. 17. Time flies when you're having fun. We all were lamenting that all the recesses, you know, when you're an educator, you're like, there's one recess, you get it over with and you're done. And we've had several today. So I welcome William and Joan Partier, who have been very dear friends. We've all taught each other kids and have been family friends for a lot of years. But I thank all of you, and I couldn't let this go without the spirit of Thalia that so many of you have reminded me. She was the first woman county commissioner elected, so in the spirit of the women, we'll honor Thalia as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Senator Gokachia.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm enjoying the new toys here. I think this is my 11th session we've opened up like this. And I, too, am surrounded by ladies, if they'll please stand. I'll start with my wife of over 50 years, Gladys, a Eureka native, and these are 5th or 6th generation, 6th generation Eurekans here. My granddaughter, Juliana. Of course, my daughter-in-law, Sally Goikachia, and not to forget about Mia. Amelia, how are you? I'd like you to please make them welcome. Looking to a lot of good, friendly faces, new faces, and some old. But again, we're all here among friends and looking forward to do the state's work. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Senator Harris.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think I'll go just in age order here, and I will start with my daughter, Delaney Harris. This is her first session. She was born, some of you may remember, on the very last day of our last session. And so I'm happy to have her with me. She's very excited, if you couldn't tell. And then we have Lawrence. This is Lawrence Thomas. He is 11, and in the 2019 session, it was actually his birthday. And so now we're just about 2 days out from being 11, and he is also very thrilled to be on the Senate floor with you all. And then I have my lovely wife, Summer Thomas Harris. She keeps me sane. I drive her crazy. So I am very excited to have her with me as well. And then I'd just like to give an honorary shout out to my mother, who said she was absolutely not coming down if I wasn't getting sworn in. But I wanted to mention her and have her on the record as well. Will you all please join me in making them feel welcome?
Thank you. Senator Flores.
Thank you, Mr. President. Joining me on the floor today, I'll start off with my mom, Griselda, who worked out in the Strip for well over 25 years. And then and a proud culinary union member, very proud of all the work that she's done. And then during COVID, needed to change gears because unfortunately, as we all know, the Strip was shut down, and now she proudly works at a senior center and does a lot of services for a bunch of folk who are very deserving. So anything that's good in me, please know that that's why. Anything that's bad, that's on me. But my mom, Griselda. Next, I have my brother, Eduardo, who is a proud educator, teaches both middle school and high school. I'm incredibly proud of having him as a brother. He's a good friend of mine, mentor. He educates me on what's happening every single day inside of the classroom. As we know, that's such an important job, and he's educating the future leaders. So I'm very proud of you, brother. Next, we have Karen, my wife now of a year. I'm humbled that she was willing to put up with everything that it takes to run for office. Very often much more difficult for the family, as I've learned, than it is for me. But I wouldn't be the man I am now without having someone so incredibly strong alongside of me who does wraparound services for at-risk youth. So she is a mentor in that way to me. And lastly, I have my law partner, Rodolfo Rudy, who, as you all know, anybody who runs a small business, you have to shut that down, your side of it, at least, while we're up here. And the only reason I can do that is because I have such an amazing law partner who can really fill that void when I'm gone. The team, the staff, everybody there really picks up the slack. I wouldn't be able to do this without the human beings that are right next to me. It's essential to have a team that you trust and who really hold you accountable. So I just wanted to say thank you to you, brother, for all the work. And then just very lastly in the gallery, I have Tia Gloria, Tio Eduardo, Tia Blanca, Tia Chayo, Teresa, and Raquel, my family, who are visiting, some from Mexico, some from California, some from here. And they are my foundation, and the only reason I do anything in this world is because I have such a strong core in my family. So if you could please give them a warm welcome.
Thank you. Senator Daley.
Stood up here. Thank you, Mr. President, and I'm also happy to be here, one of the 5 coming over from the Assembly to the Senate, so happy to be doing that. But and I have some folks here with me today, so first I'll introduce my wife, Lisa, not quite as long as my other senator who was just up, but 36 years come May. So as the senator just before me said, because we're not allowed to use names, sorry, many things in my life are not possible without my wife's help. So also have here my daughter Sarah, her fiance Jonathan, my son Brian and his fiancee Celestiana, and Brian's future mother-in-law Denise Harris here with me today for the swearing in and festivities of the day. So thank you. Please make them feel welcome.
Thank you, Senator Scheibel.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I am also very lucky to be joined by members of my family and my friends today. I sit on the advisory board for the Silver State Equality, which is a statewide LGBT civil rights organization, and that work is incredibly meaningful to me. And so I'm very lucky to have members of the Silver State Equality staff joining me on the floor today. Our executive director, Andre Wade, had to step out, but we still have Elsie Rappert here, who represents Silver State Equality. I'm also joined by members of my family, my dad, Ben Scheibel, and Greg Baylor.
Thank you. Senator Neal.
Thank you, President. I get the honor of introducing our staff's family. All right, this is going to be this is a nice list. All right, so I'm going to introduce Brendan Boosie's family, our Secretary of the Senate, Rosalind Boosie, Francis Boosie, James Boosie. I think they're in the gallery. Yeah. Okay. And then next, I don't know what's happening. So, and the next, I'm going to do Sherry Rodriguez, our Assistant Secretary. She has her son, Jason Geisler, Taylor Rodriguez, her daughter, and Ryan Albertson. Joe, is it Bernardi? Shelley Hughes, Joy Grimmer, and Jeff Mitchell. And then next, I'm going to introduce the family for our history clerk, Miss Annette Biamonte, Robert Biamonte, her husband. And then after that, I'm going to do our recording clerk, Ian Gaynor, and Greg Gaynor, which is his father, and their guests. Are you guys here? Stand up so we can see you. All right, that's the list. Do a warm welcome for our staff's family.
Thank you. Senator Lang.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I'm really proud to welcome my guest today. I have visiting with me a tireless advocate for D.C. statehood and United States Senator Paul Strauss. Stand up. Who represents the District of Columbia. And then I also have a person with me who was an intern with me when I was chair of the State Democratic Party, and later I hired him. He was so good, and now he has a very profitable job in D.C., and so proud of you, Darren George, a Las Vegas native. And then my husband, we all talk about our spouses, but my husband of 27 years stays at home, takes care of our grandson that we're raising. Couldn't thank you enough.
Thank you. Senator Hammond.
Thank you, Mr. President. It feels like the first day of the last day of school for some of us. The rest of you guys have to stay for many more years. It was many years ago that I got to introduce my family for the first time on the floor of the Assembly. And I have many of them here, but as time flies, and people grow up, you start to lose a few. And so my son, Tomas, was not able to be here, and Olivia is at school. She didn't want to miss any days of school. So I don't know what's wrong with her. So they didn't join me, but I have here with me 3 of my family members if they want to quickly stand. I know my wife doesn't want to, so I'm going to make her. I have with me my wife, and as it was pointed out by my colleague, 2 people down from me, it is really hard on the family. And I think that she's been through a lot of the battles with me and a lot of the ups and downs of serving, in just the regular course of serving the state. You go through a lot, and I can't say enough about what she's gone through and the support that she's been. But Tanya, my wife, is here with me today. I have my 2 daughters, Sophia and Isabella. They are joining me here as well today, and we're glad to be here. And I feel like I should be introducing, other Darren. I feel like you're my friend as well. I should be introducing you as well. But I know we've already got the. I'm sorry, that. I'm going to make a mistake here. That the good senator in the front row introduced you already, but it is a privilege to be on the floor and to serve with all of you in this 82nd session. So if you could all make them feel welcome, thank you.
Thank you. Senator Donate.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I'm excited to be joined here with my family members. As many of you know, I got appointed during the COVID session, so I didn't get the chance to introduce anyone. So I'm very honored that my first guests ever are my family members. Today, we're joined with my mom, Elizabeth Doñate. She's a grocery store worker and a member of UFCW, so we're a working family. It takes a lot of time for us to come up here. We have my 7-year-old sister, Galilea. She's in first grade. Fun fact, she has memorized practically all of our names. She watches a lot of YouTube and has seen the YouTube ads, so she's very familiar with the political ads. And then we have my dad, Jaime Doñate. He's from Zacatecas, Mexico. He's also a casino worker and a member of the Culinary Workers Union. I think I am an embodiment of them. They've worked long hours, multiple jobs. They carry with them, the spirit of our family, and I am very honored to serve here in the legislature and carry our family forward. Papá y mamá, les quiero mucho y gracias por viniendo aquí conmigo hoy. Gracias. Thank you so much. Please welcome and join me.
Thank you. Senator Nguyen.
Thank you, Mr. President. For those of you that know me and know my family, you know that it is, we have a very multi-generational family that all live under one roof. And so I have part of the reality show that is the Win-Lay household here with us today. So I have my husband of almost 20 years here, Matt Lay, and I have my 2 kids, Henry and Hannah, and I have my father-in-law here, Dale. I do not have my father here because he told me it was too cold for him to come up here, but I think he secretly wanted to stay back with our dog that he adores. So I know that my dad and our dog Neil are watching, so I would hope you would all make them feel welcome here today.
Thank you. Senator Orenshaw.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I am very fortunate to have my rock, my everything, Rihanna here, who, Rihanna and I first met here at the Nevada Legislature and didn't think I'd really ever see her again, but it turned out we attended Boyd Law School together, and conversation turned into eventually us settling down and starting a family. And it was very lucky for me because Rihanna is just always there for me, whether it's getting me out knocking on doors when it's 114 down in Henderson in the summer or any number of other things. With Rihanna, I've got my son Ren and my son Luca, who came out walking precincts in that 114-degree heat this summer. And I think this year they realized that when Dad said how fun precinct walking is, maybe it wasn't completely true. But nevertheless, they did get out there, knock on doors. And my youngest son, Telly, who just turned 19 months old, is here. And he didn't do too much knocking, but did a lot of tagging along and coming along with me, talking to constituents and going door to door. So I'm very fortunate to have them here. I am also very blessed to have my mom here today, who many of you know. My mom served representing Assembly District 12 over on the other side of the legislative building for 12 years. And we were talking about all the firsts and the great movements here that have happened for our female legislators. when I've looked back at some of the histories of the original Equal Rights Amendment back in the 1970s, some of the names I saw weren't my mom's, and Senator Woodhouse, and many others, but those two stand out to me who came out here to come to Carson City to fight for the original Equal Rights Amendment back in the 70s. My mom was admitted to practice law here in Nevada in 1972, and she was later on recognized as one of the first 100 women admitted to practice law here in Nevada. So I'm very, very honored to have them here. Oh, and she didn't come out knocking on doors in the 114-degree heat, but she did work the phones. She was at home in the air conditioning working the phone banks for me. So please make them feel welcome. I'm very blessed to have them here.
Thank you. Senator Krasner.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's an honor for me to be here today. I served for 3 regular sessions and 3 special sessions in the Nevada State Assembly, and I am extremely grateful to the people who reside in State Senate District 16 that voted for me, supported me, and elected me to this position as state senator. I'm fortunate today to have with me my husband, Dr. Charles Krasner, of more than 20 years, and my dear friends, John and Lori Carey. If you would please welcome them. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Titus.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm honored to have a lot of folks today visiting me, some that had spilled over to the gallery, which I'm going to introduce first. I have a lot of family members here, but they're here because they love me and their family, and they know they had to come here today. But the people in the gallery that aren't related to me, those are the folks that came and helped me in my race and have been my dear friends, and I'm going to introduce them. First, Melinda Johnson, who's peeking over there, who did knock on doors with me. Her daughter, Marcia, who's my attaché and driver from Smith Valley every day. And then my really close friend, Lori Watley, who was part of every campaign I ever ran from the start of the Assembly. And then I think John and Lydia Stauber up there. And John, he made this happen. He made me here today. I wouldn't be here if John and Lydia didn't work hard. And now my family. So I'm going to try real hard to get these grandkids' ages right, and they'll let me know about it if I don't. The thing is, a couple of them have February birthdays, and so we'll start with the youngest, Ukias. Ukias will be turning 7, I got it right, here this next week. Then I have Sophia Mortensen, who will be turning 9 in a couple of weeks, and then her sister Riley Mortensen, who turns 13 this summer, so I got that right. And then my son and his lovely fiancee, Kirsty, so Buck Harry, Kirsty Espinoza. Going in line, my husband, Alan. Alan, who absolutely hates that I'm here, but he's here anyway because he wants to support me. My daughter, Jennifer Mortensen, and her husband, Cole Mortensen, and my kids have given me these wonderful grandkids. And really the reason I'm here for Nevada is because this next generation of Nevadans, and I thank you all for welcoming them.
Thank you. Senator Pazina.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I am honored today to welcome family and friends here, starting with my husband, Joel Pazina. We've been married almost 15 years now, going on 14, I think, this year. And if it were not for him by my side, I don't know how I would be here today. So thank you, and I love you. Next to him are my in-laws, both retired school teachers from Eugene, Oregon, in the public school system there, Dale and Roz Pazina. My mom, Helen Holzer, who has been by my side since, well, obviously birth, but when I was 11 years old, didn't look at me too funny when I said I wanted to start knocking on doors for local candidates and has been with me every step of the way to get here. My close friend, Brett Harris Hegarty, who is our labor commissioner and also my Emerge sister, and I love having you here today. And one of my closest friends in the world, I couldn't be more honored to have you here, been with me for the last 4 years as this journey has continued, Lauren Bauer. Thank you so much for welcoming them.
Thank you. Senator Spearman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am honored today to have with me friends and family who have supported me in ups and downs And I want to start first with Mr. Jovan Jackson. He's a mental health provider and community organizer and criminal justice advocate. He's here with me today, and someday I hope he will sit in this chamber as well. And next, we have Nasir Thomas. He is the son of Leah Crawford. And Leah is a very dear friend and also a sorority sister. She also happens to be a real boss when it comes to CPA and work like that. And then we have Miss Kimberly Morris. Kimberly is also a very dear friend. And for those of you who ever watch a Raiders game and you marvel at the Raiderettes, she is the one that does the makeup and the hair. So this is Kimberly Morris. And next I have Miss Doretha Williams. And Doretha is a pastor and also a mental health worker and also an organizer, but I think most importantly, Doretha is my fiance. And so, then in here in the gallery, in the VIP section, we have, you all are going to have to stand up, I don't think people can see. Mr. Marcus Allen, he is the owner of Masterpiece, and he also owns the Masterpiece School of Barbering, and then we have Brenda Garza. And Brenda Garza is also a friend. She works with Leah. Did I get everybody? I think I got everybody. So thank you all. Please help me make them feel welcome.
Thank you, Senator Stone.
There we go. I'm kind of new at this here. Mr. President, thank you. Congratulations to you, and thank you for your service to the state of Nevada. And Mr. Busey, thank you for all of your help in educating a newcomer to Nevada who's now in the state legislature. Being here and getting here, your staff is incredible. And to our majority leader, I really enjoyed hearing about you and your wonderful family. And Norma, if I can call you Norma, I had a strong mentor in my family too, my mother Charlene, who taught me that you can accomplish anything you want in life. Seek and you shall find. I unfortunately lost her to breast cancer at 57 years old. Another very important woman in my life is my wife, Regina, who we've been married for almost 23 years. And she has endured me being elected official now going into my 28th year. So she certainly deserves a medal. And she is the mother of our 4 kids. Vincent is our youngest. He's here with his lovely wife, Blythe, who's up in the gallery. And I had our other son, Anthony, who was here, but he and Marin and my grandson, Oliver, had to leave to go to the airport to catch a flight. I also want to recognize our leader. I appreciate her and her getting our caucus put together. And I look forward to working with all 20 of you. I value the relationships that we're going to develop. We're going to be like a family here over the next 120 days. Also, I'd like to mention 2 other of my children. My son, Jason Stone, who was just elected to be the Riverside County Superior Court Judge. He was sworn in on January 3rd in California. He's watching online here with my 5 grandchildren, his lovely wife, Brianna, my daughter, Brittany Stone Rademacher, with her husband, Brandon. They're watching online with my twin granddaughters. Also, I have some friends that are here with me, Melissa and Jerry Verone. I've known Melissa since she was born. We were brought up in Anaheim, California together. She's here with her husband, Jerry. And also, when I was on the Riverside County Board of Supervisors, I had one of the most wonderful legislative aides. Her name was Rose Haro. And Rose migrated to Nevada with me, and she is going to be my legislative aide in this session. So Rose, thank you for your service and getting my office so organized. Also, I want to pay tribute also to my Aunt Judy, who's watching online, and my late Uncle Tom, who actually inspired me to get into politics. I appreciate them. And I hope I didn't leave anybody else out. Chris Golick, my brother-in-law, Ed Golick, my brother-in-law, and sister-in-law, Kat, are here. I will be staying, coincidentally, with my brother-in-law, Chris, who is a homeowner in Reno, and that's where I'll be staying during the session. Thank you, Mr. President. I humbly look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Buck.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, I have my wonderful husband and my two boys, Eric Buck and Barrett Buck and Branson Buck. And so please welcome them. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Hansen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, several of you have mentioned that running for office and being in office is very difficult on the family. And one of the ways you solve that is you have your wife run for office too. So I'd like to introduce my wife of 42 years, Alexis, who you all know as Assemblywoman Hansen. So. Alexis and I have 8 children, 5 of who are here right now. Daniel is up there, I believe. Rachel, Jacob, my son Jacob. My 2 youngest daughters, Larissa and Mallory, are here. We have, Alexis and I have 20 grandchildren. And, the spouses, I'm sorry. Did I leave out spouses up there? All right, Allie, Dan's wife, Allie, is here. Jacob's wife, Erica, is here. Mallory's husband, Thane, is here. Who did I miss? Larissa, your husband. Cody is here. Who am I missing? Am I missing somebody? Got them all. Okay. Kids are waving to me. Now, of our 20 grandchildren, I have sitting with me now 4 of my grandsons. My oldest grandson, Finnan. The twin boys, Oliver and Wyatt. And we have Van right here. In the gallery, we had earlier 4 of our granddaughters. We had Miss Ellie, Miss Emerson, Miss Dixie, and Miss Arden, but they had to go. Apparently, they weren't feeling good. Mallory, by the way, of our 20 grandchildren, we have 12 grandsons and 8 granddaughters. And right now, my daughter Mallory is pregnant with twin grandsons. Knock on wood. And my daughter-in-law, Jessica, is pregnant with a little boy, too. So if everything works out, we'll have 15 grandsons and 8 granddaughters. So it's obviously, now also of my kids, they are 6th-generation native Nevadans. So through their mother, mainly. We bounce around generationally a little bit. But needless to say, family is huge for me. It's been an honor and privilege. This is my 7th legislative session. I served 8 years in the Assembly. Now I'm going into my 3rd session here. Looking forward to this session. We'll see if it works out like I hope, knock on wood. But I will say this. If all of the female legislators voted like my wife does, well, I'd support 100% female legislature, gladly. And with that, thank you, Mr. President. And I look forward to, and congratulations as well. It's great to see you again as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Stone.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please indulge me. I have another couple that I neglected to mention, and that's David and Connie Mayer. They also followed me from California. David manages all my businesses in Southern Nevada, so I could be here doing the people's work. So I just want to pay tribute to them for making the long trip up here. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, welcome to all of you. Before we continue on with the day's business, we will go ahead and go into a recess in order to allow any family, friends, and guests who would like to leave the chamber. So we are in recess. The Senate will come to order. We will now turn to order of business number 10, introduction, first reading, and reference. Will the Secretary please proceed?
Senate Bill Number 1, introduced by Senators Canizaro and Severs-Gansert, makes an appropriation to the Legislative Fund for the cost of the 82nd Legislative Session. End of bill.
Senator Canizaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that all necessary rules be suspended. Reading so far had considered first reading, rules further suspended, and that Senate Bill Number 1 be declared an emergency measure under the Constitution and placed on third reading for final passage this legislative day. This bill is a general appropriation for the costs of the 82nd legislative session.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. We will now proceed to business number 13, general file and third reading.
Senate Bill Number 1, introduced by Senators Canizaro and Severs-Gansert, makes an appropriation to the Legislative Fund for the cost of the 82nd session, Section 1 and to Section 1.
Are there any amendments to Section 1?
There are none. Section 2, this act becomes effective upon passage and approval. End of bill.
Are there any amendments to that section or to the bill as a whole?
There are none.
Are there any further remarks from the floor? There are no further remarks. The Secretary, I'm sorry. Okay. Senator Severs-Gansert.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't think any of us have an issue with this bill, but typically we have a copy of everything on our desk, and we can look these up electronically, but I haven't seen them, so I just wanted to make sure that we were all aware of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further comments? There are no further remarks. The Secretary will open the roll. Has everyone voted? Does anyone wish to change their vote? If not, the Secretary will close the roll. The vote on Senate Bill Number 1 is passed. 21 yay on nay 0. The bill, the bill having received the constitutional majority is declared passed. Senator Canizaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that all necessary rules be suspended and that Senate Bill Number 1 be immediately transmitted to the Assembly.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Senate Bill Number 1 is to be immediately transmitted to the Assembly. We will proceed to order business number 5, messages from the Governor.
Office of the Governor, February 3rd, 2023, to the Honorable Nicole Canizaro, Majority Leader, Nevada State Senate, the Honorable Steve Yeager, Speaker, Nevada State Assembly, 401 South Carson Street, Carson City, Nevada, 89701. Dear Majority Leader Canizaro and Speaker Yeager, please find enclosed the text of my State of the State address of the 82nd session of the Nevada Legislature. I was honored to join you both alongside your fellow legislators, Supreme Court justices, constitutional officers, and honored guests for this important evening for all Nevadans. I was proud to outline my plans to help move Nevada forward, which include historic investment in our education system, a gas tax holiday to help ease financial burdens of Nevadans, pay increases for state employees, meaningful investments in mental health, and judicious savings for our future. As I said in my State of the State address, I look forward to working with you both to find common ground, and I appreciate your thoughtful consideration and deliberation over the coming months. My staff and I stand ready to work with you this session to find solutions to our most pressing challenges and to improve the quality of life for everyone who calls the Silver State home. Sincerely, Governor Joe Lombardo. End of messages from the Governor.
Thank you. We'll proceed to order of business number 9, motions, resolutions, and notices. Senator Canizaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that in accordance with the provisions of Article 5, Section 10 of the Nevada Constitution, Governor Lombardo's State of the State address to the Nevada Legislature as presented to the Special Committee to receive the Governor's State of the State address on January 23rd, 2023 be entered in the Senate Journal for this legislative day.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. The Governor's State of the State address will be included in this day's journal. We will proceed to order of business number 7, communications.
Office of the Secretary of State, January 31st, 2023. Sherry L. Rodriguez, Assistant Secretary of the Nevada Senate, Legislative Building, 401 South Carson Street, Suite 1203, Carson City, Nevada, 89701-4747. Dear Ms. Rodriguez, this letter serves as an acknowledgement of the return of vetoed and Senate joint resolutions resolution bills of the 2021 81st session. Pursuant to your letter dated January 27, 2023, vetoed bills numbers 254 and number 391, along with Senate Joint Resolution number 7, have been returned to the office of the Assistant Secretary of the Senate. If you have any questions, please contact me. Respectfully, Francisco Aguilar, Secretary of State. Carson City, Nevada, Consolidated Municipality and State Capital, January 30th, 2023. To the honorable members of the Nevada Senate and Assembly, Carson City is excited to welcome people from all corners of Nevada for the 82nd session of the Nevada Legislature, and I want to extend our warmest welcome to you and your families. I sincerely hope that you enjoy your time with us. I have always appreciated the openness of our legislature, and we hope to extend the same in return. I understand the pressure and time constraints that come with every session, but my hope is that while you are here, you get the opportunity to enjoy all that Carson City has to offer. There are many new and improved dining, shopping, recreation, and entertainment opportunities to experience. Recently, several improvements have been completed to our parks and trails, including the Kings Canyon Trailhead, in addition to the 6,958 acres of open space that Carson City has for the enjoyment of the public. The city has also completed several street improvement projects, which include beautiful landscaping, walking and bicycle paths, and improved business access. It is my hope that you can also join us on April 21st to 23rd for the first annual Mark Twain Days to celebrate our rich history and one of Nevada's most famous former residents. I wish you all a productive and rewarding legislative session. As mayor of Carson City and president of the Nevada League of Cities and Municipalities, my door is always open as we work together to build an even brighter future for Nevada. Again, I welcome you to Carson City and want to express my sincere gratitude for your work on behalf of our state. Sincerely, Lori Bagwell, Mayor of Carson City. End of communications.
Thank you. We will now proceed to order of business number 9, motions, resolutions, and notices. Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that vetoed Senate bills numbers 254 and 391 of the 81st session be made a special order of business for Tuesday, February 14th, 2023 at 11:15 a.m.
Senator Cannizzaro has moved that vetoed Senate bills number 254 and 391 of the 81st session be made a special order of business. Are there any remarks? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Senate bills number 254 and 391 of the 81st session have been made a special order of business for Tuesday, February 14th at 11:15 a.m.
Senate Joint Resolution 7 of the 81st session, introduced by Senator Dondero Loop and Assemblyman Roberts, proposes to amend the Nevada Constitution to remove the constitutional provisions governing the election and duties of the Board of Regents of the State University and to authorize the legislature to provide by statute for the governance of the State University and for the auditing of public institutions of higher education in this state. End of resolution.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that Senate Joint Resolution 7 of the 81st Legislative Session be referred to the Senate Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections.
Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered. Order of business number 10, introduction, first reading, and reference. Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the interest of time, the Secretary will read through all summaries of the pre-filed bills, noting the appropriate committee referrals. When that has been completed, Senator Lang will move that all bills previously read be referred to the committees as indicated, all in one motion, rather than having a senator stand and move their own bills individually. If anyone has an objection to a referral, that can be addressed at the end of the reading. All the bills have been pre-filed and are available to everyone for review. A list is located in today's agenda. If there are no objections by the members, we can save a great deal of time because of the number of bills to introduce. The bills will be read in consecutive order.
Thank you. We will proceed with the pre-filed bills.
Senate Bill 2 by Government Affairs revises provisions relating to emergency management, refer to same. Senate Bill 3 by Government Affairs revises the membership of the Nevada Commission on Homeland Security, refer to same. Senate Bill 4 by Health and Human Services revises provisions governing certain programs to pay for prescription drugs, pharmaceutical services, and other benefits, refer to same. Senate Bill 5 by Government Affairs authorizes the Division of Emergency Management in the Office of the Military to use money in the Emergency Assistance Account for certain additional purposes, refer to same. Senate Bill 6 by Growth and Infrastructure revises provisions relating to the release of personal information maintained by the Department of Motor Vehicles, refer to same. Senate Bill 7 by Judiciary revises various provisions relating to gaming, refer to same. Senate Bill 8 by Government Affairs revises provisions relating to juvenile justice, refer to same. Senate Bill 9 by Education revises provisions relating to education, refer to same. Senate Bill 10 by Growth and Infrastructure revises provisions related to the Nevada State Infrastructure Bank, refer to same. Senate Bill 11 by Growth and Infrastructure requires the Department of Public Safety to adopt regulations authorizing a public agency to use unmanned aerial vehicles for certain purposes, refer to same. Senate Bill 12 by Government Affairs makes various changes to the Charter of the City of Reno, refer to same. Senate Bill 13 by Natural Resources revises provisions governing pest control, refer to same. Senate Bill 14 by Judiciary makes various changes related to gaming, refer to same. Senate Bill 15 by Judiciary makes various changes related to guardianships, refer to same. Senate Bill 16 by Government Affairs revises various provisions to the Charter of Carson City, refer to same. Senate Bill 17 by Government Affairs revises provisions relating to regional transportation commissions, refer to same. Senate Bill 18 by Government Affairs revises provisions governing required meetings of planning commissions in certain counties, refer to same. Senate Bill 19 by Government Affairs revises provisions relating to local governments, refer to same. Senate Bill 20 by Government Affairs revises provisions relating to the process for filling a vacancy in a Board of County Commissioners, refer to same. Senate Bill 21 by Government Affairs revises certain classifications based on populations, refer to same. Senate Bill 22 by Government Affairs revises provisions relating to the publication of legal notices, refer to same. Senate Bill 23 by Government Affairs authorizes an amendment of a redevelopment plan to include the removal of an area from a redevelopment area under certain circumstances, refer to same. Senate Bill 24 by Government Affairs revises provisions relating to the Office of Small Business Advocacy within the Office of the Lieutenant Governor, refer to same. Senate Bill 25 by Government Affairs implements process for long-term planning for state office space, refer to same. Senate Bill 26 by Government Affairs revises provisions relating to public works, refer to same. Senate Bill 27 by Health and Human Services revises provisions relating to excavations in areas containing subsurface installations, refer to same. Senate Bill 28 by Revenue and Economic Development revises provisions governing transferable tax credits for film and other productions, refer to same. Senate Bill 29 by Revenue and Economic Development revises provisions relating to refunds of overpayments of taxes, refer to same. Senate Bill 30 by Commerce and Labor revises provisions relating to associations of self-insured public or private employers, refer to same. Senate Bill 31 by Commerce and Labor authorizes a cannabis establishment to move to a new location under the jurisdiction of a different local government under certain circumstances, refer to same. Senate Bill 32 by Commerce and Labor exempts persons engaged exclusively in transporting persons between certain states for certain purposes from provisions governing private investigators and related professions, refer to same. Senate Bill 33 by Commerce and Labor revises provisions related to cannabis, refer to same. Senate Bill 34 by Judiciary revises provisions relating to legal representation in certain actions or proceedings, refer to same. Senate Bill 35 by Health and Human Services establishes the crimes of low-level trafficking in fentanyl, mid-level trafficking in fentanyl, and high-level trafficking in fentanyl, refer to same. Senate Bill 36 by Judiciary revises provisions relating to psychosexual evaluations for sexual offenses and other crimes, refer to same. Senate Bill 37 by Judiciary authorizes the governmental attorneys to volunteer as third-party neutral mediators under certain circumstances, refer to same. Senate Bill 38 by Judiciary revises provisions relating to offenses against children, refer to same. Senate Bill 39 by Judiciary provides that certain records received, obtained, and compiled by the Board of Indigent Defense Services in the Department of Indigent Defense Services and the Department are confidential under certain circumstances, refer to same. Senate Bill 40 by Growth and Infrastructure revises provisions related to manufactured housing, refer to same. Senate Bill 41 by Health and Human Services revises provisions related to child welfare, refer to same. Senate Bill 42 by Health and Human Services revises provisions relating to the funding of medical assistance to indigent persons, refer to same. Senate Bill 43 by Health and Human Services makes various changes relating to services for aging persons and persons with disabilities, refer to same. Senate Bill 44 by Health and Human Services revises provisions related to dental and oral health care, refer to same. Senate Bill 45 by Health and Human Services establishes the amount for the personal needs allowance provided to certain recipients of Medicaid, refer to same. Senate Bill 46 by Education revises provisions governing education, refer to same. Senate Bill 47 by Education revises provisions relating to teachers, refer to same. Senate Bill 48 by Natural Resources revises provisions relating to air quality, refer to same. Senate Bill 49 by Natural Resources revises provisions relating to the control of emissions, refer to same. Senate Bill 50 by Revenue and Economic Development revises provisions governing the sales tax holiday for certain members of the Nevada National Guard and certain relatives of such members, refer to same. Senate Bill 51 by Government Affairs revises provisions relating to the compensation of certain county commissioners, refer to same. Senate Bill 52 by Government Affairs revises provisions relating to the standards for the design and construction of buildings or other projects of this state, refer to same. Senate Bill 53 by Legislative Operations and Elections revises provisions relating to elections, refer to same. Senate Bill 54 by Legislative Operations and Elections revises provisions relating to elections, refer to same. Senate Bill 55 by Judiciary revises various provisions relating to courts, refer to same. Senate Bill 56 by Education creates a commission to study and make recommendations concerning education statutes and regulations, refer to same. Senate Bill 57 by Commerce and Labor revises provisions relating to insurance, refer to same. Senate Bill 58 by Finance revises provisions related to the Judicial Department of the state government, refer to same. Senate Bill 59 by Growth and Infrastructure revises provisions related to vessels, refer to same. Senate Bill 60 by Legislative Operations and Elections revises provisions related to elections, refer to same. Senate Bill 61 by Judiciary revises provisions relating to crimes involving the deposits of proceeds of an account held in a joint tenancy, refer to same. Senate Bill 62 by Judiciary revises provisions relating to the Commission on Judicial Discipline, refer to same. Senate Bill 63 by Judiciary revises provisions relating to the Judicial Department of State Government, refer to same. Senate Bill 64 by Education revises provisions relating to school districts, refer to same. Senate Bill 65 by Education revises provisions relating to the boards of trustees of county school districts, refer to same. Senate Bill 66 by Growth and Infrastructure revises provisions relating to public safety, refer to same. Senate Bill 67 by Judiciary revises the definition of the term sexual offense for the purpose of certain provisions relating to parole, refer to same. Senate Bill 68 by Revenue and Economic Development establishes programs to provide certain assistance relating to housing, refer to same. Senate Bill 69 by Commerce and Labor revises provisions relating to disciplinary proceedings against the holder of a license or registration card issued by the Cannabis Compliance Board, refer to same. Senate Bill 70 by Education revises provisions governing name, image, or likeness contracts for student athletes, refer to same. Senate Bill 71 by Education creates the Nevada State Education Support Professional Recruitment and Retention Advisory Task Force, refer to same. Senate Bill 72 by Education directs the Joint Interim Standing Committee on Education to conduct certain studies during the 2023-2024 interim, refer to same. Senate Bill 73 by Senator Titus revises provisions governing civil liability for injury or death resulting from the exposure to COVID-19, refer to Judiciary. Senate Bill 74 by Senator Titus revises provisions governing the granting of the right to visit a child to grandparents and great-grandparents of the child, refer to Judiciary. Senate Bill 75 by Senator Titus and Assemblywoman Dickman requires the election of a registrar of voters, refer to Legislative Operations and Elections. Senate Bill 76 by Senator Neal establishes provisions governing certain products that contain intentionally added perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl substances, refer to Natural Resources. Senate Bill 77 by Natural Resources revises provisions relating to the Nevada State Board on Geographic Names, refer to same. Senate Bill 78 by Senator Doñate and Assemblyman Gonzalez, etc., makes various changes relating to property, refer to Commerce and Labor. Senate Bill 79 by Senator Buck revises provisions governing access to the property and employees of public schools, refer to as Education. Senate Bill 80 by Education revises provisions relating to the prevention and treatment of injuries to the head, refer to same. Senate Bill 81 by Senator Daley revises provisions governing regional planning, refer to Government Affairs. Senate Bill 82 by Senator Daley revises provisions related to public works, refer to Government Affairs. Senate Bill 83 by Senator Daley revises provisions governing the confidentiality of the personal information of certain civilian employees of law enforcement agencies, refer to Government Affairs. Senate Bill 84 by Senator Buck revises provisions governing the confidentiality of the personal information of certain persons, refer to Government Affairs. Senate Bill 85 by Senator Daley revises provisions relating to retention payments under certain highway contracts, refer to growth and infrastructure. Senate Bill 86 by Senator Seaver-Scansert revises provisions relating to crimes, refer to judiciary. Senate Bill 87 by Legislative Operations and Elections revises provisions relating to state employment, refer to same. Senate Bill 88 by Natural Resources requires the Joint Interim Committee on Natural Resources to conduct an interim study of certain state agencies, refer to same. Senate Bill 89 by Senators Seaver-Scansert, et cetera, revises provisions governing crimes relating to sex trafficking, refer to judiciary. Senate Bill 90 by Natural Resources designates the wild Mustang as the official state horse of the state of Nevada, refer to Government Affairs. Senate Bill 91 by Senator Lang authorizes a licensed clinical alcohol and drug counselor to supervise a certified problem gambling counselor intern, refer to Commerce and Labor. Senate Bill 92 by Senators Danyate, et cetera, Assemblywoman Marzola, et cetera, revises provisions relating to sidewalk vendors, referred to Government Affairs. Senate Bill 93 by Senator Buck revises provisions relating to offenders, referred to Judiciary. Senate Bill 94 by Government Affairs revises provisions relating to tribal liaison officers, refer to Government Affairs. Senate Bill 95 by Revenue and Economic Development revises provisions governing the excise tax on other tobacco products, refer to same. Senate Bill 96 by Revenue and Economic Development revises provisions relating to taxation, refer to same. Senate Bill 97 by Senator Seaver-Scansert enacts provisions governing the interstate practice of physical therapy, referred to Commerce and Labor. Senate Bill 98 by Finance revises provisions relating to education, referred to same. Senate Bill 99 by Senator Goycochea makes an appropriation to the Desert Research Institute of the Nevada System of Higher Education to support the Nevada State Cloud Seeding Program, refer to Finance. Senate Bill 100 by Senator Goycochea makes an appropriation to the White Pine County School District for the construction of an elementary school, refer to Finance. Senate Bill 101 by Senator Goycochea makes an appropriation for the restoration of the Gem Theater in Pioche, Nevada, refer to Finance. Senate Bill 102 by Senator Goycochea makes an appropriation to the Division of Water Resources of the State Department of Conservation and Natural Resources to award grants of money for the deployment, development, and maintenance of water resource plans, refer to Finance. Senate Bill 103 by Judiciary revises provisions governing the Nevada Sentencing Commission within the Department of Sentencing Policy, refer to Judiciary. Senate Bill 104 by Growth and Infrastructure revises provisions relating to traffic offenses, refer to same. Senate Bill 105 by Government Affairs revises provisions relating to the Department of Corrections, refer to same. Senate Bill 106 by Senator Seaver-Scansert revises provisions relating to ophthalmic dispensing, refer to Commerce and Labor. End of pre-filed bills.
We're going into recess. The Senate is back in order. All the bills have been read, so Senator Lang.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate Bills numbers 2 through 106, with the exception of Senate Bills number 27, 35, and 104, be referred to the committee set forth on the list of pre-filed Senate bills for the 82nd session effective February 6, 2023.
Thank you. Are there any objections to the committees of referral as indicated? If not, so ordered. Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate Standing Rule number 40 be suspended and that Senate Bill number 27 be referred to the Committee on Growth and Infrastructure instead of the Committee on Health and Human Services.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate Bill number 35 be referred to the Committee on Judiciary instead of the Committee on Health and Human Services.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Senate Bill number 104 be referred to the Committee on Judiciary instead of the Committee on Growth and Infrastructure.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion is carried. Order of business number 9, motions, resolutions, and notices. At this time, I will announce the names of the Senate's leadership positions and appointments to the Senate standing committees. The first named senator of the committee is the chair. The second named senator is the vice chair. The list of leadership positions and committee assignments are located in today's agenda. President Pro Tem of the Senate, Senator Pat Spearman. Majority Floor Leader, Senator Cannizzaro. Assistant Majority Floor Leader, Senator Lang. Chief Majority Whip, Senator Harris. Co-Majority Whips, Senator Scheibel, Senator Donate. Minority Floor Leader, Senator Severs-Ganzert. Assistant Minority Floor Leader, Senator Buck. Co-Minority Whip, Senator Krasner, Senator Stone. 2023 Senate Standing Committee Memberships. Commerce and Labor, Senator Spearman, Lang, Scheibel, Daley, Pazina, Hammond, Buck, Stone. Education, Senators Lang, Flores, Neal, Donate, Hammond, Buck, Titus. Finance, Senators Loop, Dondero Loop, Cannizzaro, Harris, Neal, Wynn, Gokachia, Severs-Ganzert, Titus. Government Affairs, Senators Flores, Orenshaw, Daley, Gokachia, Krasner. Growth and Infrastructure, Senators Harris, Spearman, Pazina, Hammond, Hansen. Health and Human Services, Senators Donate, Wynn, Lang, Titus, Stone. Judiciary, Senators Scheibel, Harris, Orenshaw, Dondero Loop, Wynn, Hansen, Krasner, Stone. Legislative Operations and Elections, Senators Orenshaw, Daley, Cannizzaro, Severs-Ganzert, Krasner. Natural Resources, Senators Pazina, Scheibel, Flores, Gokachia, Hansen. Revenue and Economic Development, Senators Neal, Donate, Spearman, Severs-Ganzert, Buck. Are there any other notices? Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. Pursuant to Standing Rule number 91's one-day notice requirement, the Senate will consider 3 motions on our next legislative day. 1, to dispense with the reading of the journal on a daily basis. 2, to dispense with the reading of bill and resolution histories for the remainder of the legislative session. And 3, to read all bills and resolutions by summary for the remainder of the legislative session.
Thank you. We will now go into recess while we await Assembly Concurrent Resolution number 1. The Senate is back in order. Now that we've concluded our scheduled business for the day, we will proceed to order of business number 16, remarks from the floor, introduction of guests. Is there? My apologies. We will proceed to order of business number 6, messages from the Assembly.
Assembly Chamber, Carson City, February 6, 2023. To the Honorable the Senate, I have the honor to inform your honorable body that the Assembly on this day adopted Assembly Concurrent Resolutions numbers 1 and 2. Carol Ayala Sola, Assistant Chief Clerk of the Assembly. End of message.
Senator Canizaro. Are there any remarks? Senator Canizaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to adopt Assembly Concurrent Resolution number 1.
Any further remarks? Senator Canizaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. Joint Rule number 5 is amended to remove the requirement to automatically remove the names of the joint sponsors of a bill or resolution when all primary or co-sponsors are removed, and that summarizes the changes to our joint standing rules.
Okay, we will now proceed to order of business 9, motions, resolutions, and notices.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 1, introduced by Legislative Operations and Elections, adopts the joint standing rules of the Senate and Assembly for the 82nd session of the Legislature. End of resolution.
Are there any further remarks on Assembly Concurrent Resolution number 1? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. The resolution is ordered transmitted to the Assembly. Now we will proceed to order of business number 16, remarks from the floor, introduction of guests. Is there anything further to address? Senator Canizaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. As in past legislative sessions, all memorial resolutions will list all senators' names. If a senator has an objection to having their name on a memorial resolution, please notify the front desk staff at least 1 day before the resolution is introduced. Also, pursuant to Standing Rule number 10, the Senate will convene promptly at 11 a.m. each legislative day. The bell will ring 10 minutes prior to our daily start.
Thank you. Are there any further remarks from other senators at this time? Senator Canizaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank everyone for all of their hard work today, and I move that the Senate stand in adjournment until Wednesday, February 8th, 2023 at 11 a.m.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. The Senate is adjourned.